So, Mr. Steam Shadow, tell me what's on your mind.
Well, Doctor, I suppose there is always a lot on my mind, though that is besides the point. Recent events have revived an old problem of mine that has plagued me for most of my life, which I suppose has brought me to your office today in an attempt to help find some type of resolution, or at least an understanding.
And what might that be?
Well, long story short, I tend to have a difficult time working on group projects.
Is this with every group project, or is there a particular subject matter that stands out?
Unfortunately, it seems to be with every group project. I've had groups where the people were lazy, I've had groups where the people bail in the middle of the project, I've had groups where I do essentially all the work just to get something done. I've had groups that simply bicker. I suppose, though, there is one problem that is always constant, and is the most unsettling for me.
Nothing turns out quite the way you hope it would?
I suppose not. The end product always seems mediocre. There's nothing special or unique about it. It usually blends in with the countless other projects.
And what happens when you suggest something more out of the ordinary?
I am easily rejected. My ideas generally go unappreciated.
I see. Are you at least dedicated to finishing the group project even when it's not a subject you really feel passionate about?
I suppose, to an extent. I will do my part to get the project done to the teacher's standards. However, to be honest, my heart is generally not in it. Instead of a labor of love, it is something I just want to get done with.
And how does the rest of the group feel when the project is finished?
They usually seem pleased with it anyways, but I've never explicitly asked for their opinion.
It really doesn't matter to you? Do you find it difficult to appreciate the end result as long as you aren't able to work on what you wanted in the first place?
To answer your first question, I suppose it doesn't matter. They are either content with mediocrity or they were upset because people didn't do their assigned tasks. As for your second question, yes, it's not impossible, but when none of my ideas are in the project, I feel rather detached from it.
And you believe that there must be some way of having a group focus on your ideas while at the same time having everyone feel satisfied with the end result?
Not really. I'm not looking to impose my ideas on the group. That would simply be reversing the situation. I just would like one of my ideas to be seriously considered by the group. Right now, my ideas are shot down as soon as they come out of my mouth, which is really frustrating.
So, you honestly believe that no matter what, someone must feel left out in a group project, regardless of the subject matter or the people involved?
When you put it that way, I guess someone will inevitably be or feel left out. Having everyone's ideas included for the sake of fairness can muddy down the assignment. At that point, trying to mesh everyone's ideas together can lead to a subpar project with no clear direction. Following a single vision tends to get the project done as needed to meet the guidelines. It's hard to contribute ideas, though, when you know they will not be incorporated.
Perhaps it's more about whether others find it enjoyable to chat with you long before the group project even begins. Perhaps you're often working with those who are already friends with each other and thus respect and admire their suggestions. I know that I'll tend to focus more on someone's ideas if I've already had a lot of fun working with them in the past. To be honest, I would guess that, at least more often than not, our deepest desires tend to place more emphasis on building social connections rather than follow the most logical ideas. I know not everyone fits within this structure, but from my experience, the majority of people do. Does that make sense to you, Steam?
You have a very good point. I never thought of it like that. I don't have many social connections. I have many acquaintances, but few close friends. And even fewer that I work with in group projects. I always wonder if I am respected as a fellow colleague. Most people in the group are friends with each other, making me feel like an odd man out. Are you suggesting that if I work on these connections outside of the work setting, it might help improve my morale on these group projects?
I'd say it's more than likely. I know it can be hard to develop those social connections when you already feel like no one appreciates your input. But if you seek first to understand and only afterwards make yourself understood, that will leave a positive impact on those around you. I realize that we'd prefer to have others understand us first, but hey, that means we all have a lot in common, right? Shall we continue on this next week?
I would like that very much. You've given me a lot to think about. Thanks for the advice, Dr. Wolf.
Glad to be of service. Take care, Steam Shadow, and best of luck in your future projects, whatever they might be. It's good to be helping.